Hey guys, and welcome to episode 29 of the Take 3 podcast. We have a smaller crew tonight. We might be joined by a couple people later on, but we're just here to, do some news, do a quick box office, and just take some questions from you guys. We're just gonna, shoot the shit tonight and have some interesting conversations. And I I cannot promise that there won't be some tangents, that there won't be some rants. I can't promise that it'll necessarily stay cool and chill the whole time. But you know what? That's what I love about this, you know? And with me tonight, I've got Kristen Smith. Kristen, how's your week, man?
It's going pretty good. I'm happy it's Friday.
Ugh,
Really happy it's Friday.
you're telling me. You're telling me, even though I actually had today off, but that means I have to work tomorrow. I don't like that, but oh well, what can you do? And I hope his video is actually in the stream. Jacob, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? I am on the line. Yeah, you guys all hate me because I've had 2 weeks on leave and I am ready to go back to work on Tuesday. I am actually really ready to go back to work.
Yeah, we're ready for you to go back to work finally. I'm kidding. I mean, actually, to be honest, having you around as much as you have been has been actually kind of a blessing in disguise. Where we've been able to try some new things and do some other stuff for the channel, and finally get freaking caught up with the WWMT, which the season 2 premiere dropped last night. David and Jeremy, I gotta say. That match could lead to some interesting roads. I don't know about you, but Jacob, are you at all nervous about David's possibility of maybe coming for your belt?
No, I'm not nervous about anyone coming for my belt. There's no one whatsoever. I'll be nervous when I have the match, but afterwards I'll be fine.
Okay, all right, a little bit of cockiness. I like that. But Kristen, you checked out the most recent match. You had quite a nervous or you had quite the complaint to say. What
How
happened?
come people don't know classics? Guys, watch On the Waterfront. What is your problem?
Because the Schmodown are now considering films like films from the last decade classics. Apparently.
Well, that's accurate. But yeah. It was like, seriously, you guys don't know some of these answers? Like, Sergio Leone should have been a 2-pointer. 2-pointer! People! His name is Charlie!
I threw in a Jaws question in classics, and a little behind the scenes, Case actually kind of let me have it for putting Jaws as a classic. It's like, how is that
Jaws
not a classic?
Jaws is a classic. It's now, but it's on the cusp.
Classics are... It's interesting because some people think classics are just old movies, and then some people think that they're movies that will stand the test of time. So the definition of classic kind of always changes. But people need to watch older movies. Just go watch some movies.
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it is that Kristen wants everyone to watch older movies and is going to go on a rant.
It's true. Come on.
Yeah, pretty much. But I figured, screw it. Let's start with a little bit of that, because obviously we haven't really had a WWNT match in a while outside of Jacob's title match, and we haven't really done a lot of our shows minus the summits and the reactions, because for 3 weeks it was Schmodown. It's like, I'm glad we're back to 2 a week, so we can actually come back to our other regular programming. And I don't know why I keep playing with that napkin in my hand. I'm just weird like that. But but yeah, no, I'm glad we're back to sort of a regular schedule, and we can get back to where we were, and start taking advantage of some of these new audiences that have been coming to us. Which, by the way, guys, thank you for everyone who has been subscribing recently. If you're new, this is our weekly live podcast where we pretty much will take a discussion, or we'll do a tournament. We'll do a fun game. We might have a special guest next week. Sorry, what?
You got something caught in your throat there, Chris?
Yeah, I did.
A
I did.
secret
I
caught in your
did.
throat there, Chris?
And no, not a secret at all. No. What am I talking about, Bibs? Oh, I'm sorry. What? So let's get into some movie news. First story that actually I want to talk about. I don't know why this actually kind of interests me. So for a while we were hearing about how there was going to be a third 21 Jump Street film. It was going to be 23 Jump Street, but it was going to be a crossover with the Men in Black series. Well, now the story is that is no longer happening, and Steven Spielberg is actually stepping in to executive produce a Jurassic World-esque kind of reboot for the Man in Black franchise. Jacob, first off, A, do we need this? And B, what are your thoughts about that crossover no longer happening?
Look, okay, the crossover no longer happening, I think, is a bit of a... I'm actually kind of disappointed. I was one of the few people in the world who thought this could actually been a cool idea. Take arguably the biggest comedy franchise... I would call one of the biggest comedy franchises right now and try and regenerate rejuvenate this other comedy action franchise that Sony have. I thought it was a smart idea. Clearly, it's not working like that. Look, if they couldn't get their head around how to do it, maybe that was the problem. I don't know where the issue for why they're not doing this spin-off version, but it clearly is an issue. But deciding to go back, hey, we're going to do Jurassic Park, but Men in Black, that's just stupid. That's just it would work if they decide to do it as a all right, tongue-in-cheek 21 Jump Street style, possibly, but we can't have Will Smith back and you can't have Tommy Lee Jones. It's got to be the new Men in Black. It's got to be basically a rebranded Men in Black if they're going to do it like this.
Yeah, I mean, well, because and that's why I honestly was a little nervous for the idea in general, because if we weren't going to get Smith and Jones, I probably wouldn't want to see it because they are Men in Black to me, but and apparently this news has upset Freya. Kristen, do you have some 2 cents to give on this on the story?
My dog said it all. That's all. Nothing else. I'm not particularly excited about this news, but I'm not particularly let down about this news either. It's just kind of news until some information comes out about it. I guess it's just not really that interesting to me because the Men in Black franchise hasn't really been good since the first movie. So yeah, it's like, okay, reboot it. That's fine. Go ahead. Like, and let me just say right now, I would consider the first movie a family movie because I watched that in theaters when it came out, and there were a lot of kids in that theater when it came out. And yeah, a lot of people went with their families to see that movie. I watched it a lot growing up. So
I would consider Men in Black a family movie. I'm just of the opinion that it needed rejuvenating, and putting in 21 and 22 Jump Street into it was a smart idea. I know you're taking away from the familyness of Men in Black, and making it a R-rated action comedy, but I think that's what you needed for this franchise at this point in where Men in Black is.
The family movie was in response to some contention during that latest match.
Fair enough.
Yeah, actually, and that was again, that was hilarious when we were typing up the questions, and I saw that for Man in Black. I'm like, a family movie, really? But it tis what tis. Next bit of news story, which actually does sort of tie into the box office, which might sway me one way or another on my predictions for this week, but it is probably the most unstoppable movie of the year, next to Wonder Woman. It's now grossed $500 million worldwide. Like this is, with the rate it keeps going and going and going and going, it could potentially be the Deadpool of this year, and might even like give Deadpool a run for its money in terms of being one of the highest grossing R-rated films of all time. And not to mention the fact that it's my second favorite film of the year, because I fucking loved it. But Kristen, as someone else who was getting me on the hype train before I even saw it, what would you say is the possibility of it actually like getting close to Deadpool's current record?
I think that's probably fair. Like, I mean, it's tracking very, very well, and it's not slowing down at all. So it's quite possible that it will beat that record. I think that whole superhero fatigue thing, as much as that's kind of overplayed, is a little bit accurate also, where there's just an oversaturation of that market where it's an R-rated superhero film. So yeah, it'll draw some more attention than just a normal one, but there's not really anything else like it out there right now. It's got a unique factor, and there are a lot of people who are going back to see it with more friends, and the word of mouth on this movie is really insane. And so I think that it could do it. Honestly, it's looking like it'll at least get close to the record, if not beat it. But I guess we'll see. The only thing that I will say about that is that I don't know that I would say it's. I mean, I don't know. Is it tracking the same way that Wonder Woman was? Because Wonder Woman broke like every tracking record. It was like that was kind of like the phenomenon of the year.
Actually, it's funny you say that because the thing is, people had less hopes for Wonder Woman because of Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman and how disappointing they both were, both financially and critically. So, Wonder Woman had more challenges to overcome, whereas people had high hopes for it because of the nostalgia factor for the Tim Curry version. But Jacob, where do you see on its chances of being the juggernaut it is?
Okay, it beating Deadpool is going to really, really come down to how well does Blade Runner do next weekend, and how much of a chunk does Blade Runner take out of it? Because look, at the moment it's tracking for around 17 million this weekend. That's enough. That like it's still got to make $256 million worldwide to get to Deadpool's number. That is a lot of money for a movie that's already been out for a month. So Halloween is going to be a big thing. And if I was a studio, I would start maybe re-upping your marketing in a week or two and really doing a massive Halloween push. Like, go see this at Halloween. Like, go see this for Halloween this year. And I think that is how Warner Brothers really should. If they really want to, because you could capitalize a lot on that and pick up a lot more steam. But I think next weekend they're gonna lose a lot more steam because of Blade Runner. You got an R-rated movie coming from Warner Brothers as well. You're gonna so Warner Brothers are gonna cut back a lot of their marketing on it and put it to Blade Runner. The week after that, you have another horror movie in Happy Death Day and then you've also got The Foreigner and Marshall coming out. And then the week after that, you're a weekend before Halloween. You don't really have a lot, but it is nearing the 2-month stage. And by 2 months, you kind of, if you're still in the top 5, it's a miracle. Like that's a miracle. And I think if you're still making, if it is still getting $10 million each one of those weeks, that's going to be a big thing. I don't see it happening. Personally, I don't think it will beat Deadpool. I think Deadpool was such a lightning in a bottle movie that came out at the right time, at the right moment. And so did it. It came out at the right time and right moment. I just don't see the massive China appeal. There's not that big, giant, industry standard in China that, hey, we're going to make $100 million when we open this movie in China. I doubt it will even open in China. Consider, like, if you're Warner Brothers, are you going to put it in China or are you going to put Justice League? And considering a lot of your movies, you have a choice. China don't accept a lot of foreign films. So that's a huge market that you're losing. I'm kind of interested to see where this all goes with it. There is a real chance, though, that Warner Brothers could have a #1 film from now till at least November. They've got they've got Blade Runner opening next week. I don't think Blade Runner is going to do fantastic, but I think it's going to do okay. Then if it can stay in the top 5 and they actually start if Warner Brothers decide, all right, Blade Runner hasn't done well, we need to do a massive marketing push again on it to go into the Halloween season, that could be interesting.
Okay. That was a nice little tangent there. I actually appreciate when you go on those, Jacob, because
sorry, box office is my thing.
Exactly. Which is why, like I said, I'm glad you really do that. So now we'll come to the latest. This is a story that, again, I don't know how to feel about this, because on the one hand, I think it's great. On the other hand, I think it's a desperate move, and that is Terminator 6. It's slated to come out the summer of 2019, and it has original franchise star Linda Hamilton coming back in a direct sequel to T2 Judgment Day. Again, kind of like Jurassic World, which was a sequel to the best film in the franchise. Go figure. And, there's the whole thing about trying to, you know what, Jacob, I gotta tell in your face, you're ready for a rant. Come on.
No,
give it to me, bro.
This pains me because I can't go on a rant about it because they're doing what I asked them to do 2 weeks ago. Like I said 2 weeks ago when we said, I'm blank. Deadpool director Tim Miller is directing Terminator 3, Terminator 6. My thing was do what Neil Blomkamp wanted to do with Alien. Wipe the bad sequels and just do a direct sequel to Terminator 2. That's what I wanted them to do. Now they're doing it. I don't want it. I don't want this movie in general. I just don't want this movie. I don't want this movie at all. This franchise is dead. Kill it. Burn it with fire. Arnie died when he went into the bloody molten lava at the bottom in Terminator 2 or whatever the hell it's called. This franchise is dead. Now, that being said, they are making every single right decision so far. They've gotten a really, really great director. They've got someone who has proven themselves as a really good director. They're bringing back original cast members. It's looking like James Cameron is a lot more involved in this. He probably isn't, but it's looking like he's a bit more involved in this one than the one he said was the best was the true Terminator 3. Dumbass. I have hope, but at the same time, I'm fucking nervous as hell for this movie. And to be fair, that's the most hopeful I've ever been for a Terminator movie since 2002 or whenever Rise came out. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I don't think it'll be good. I really don't think it'll be good. I'm interested to see how they're going to do the aging thing though, but no.
Okay. Apparently Abe actually is in the chat right now, and he is trying to collect some numbers for how many rants we're going to go on tonight. So many rants. But Kristen, speaking of rants, you got one, or are you just going to be blah about it?
Leave Terminator alone. Leave it alone. Why? Just stop. Why? I don't understand. How many more franchises do we have to beat into the ground before we get it? We want new material. Or make a good fucking movie. Why? Genesis was such a big piece of shit, and I don't want more. Just wait 10 years and do one in the future once you've got a good story and a good idea and less, time in between a really bad movie. Why? Just leave it alone. Focus on something else. Do something else. There are so many stories. Find something. Adapt it. I don't care.
I was going to say, be careful what you wish for, because another story I came across that I am scared. I am so scared for how this is gonna go. So, in addition to directing Star Wars Episode 9, which, look, I officially my stance is still the same, where I don't necessarily like it, but this is my, what I'm also saying. I'm not saying anything else until I get a trailer for Episode 9 about JJ. But he's a busy guy because apparently he is doing a live action adaptation of the runaway anime hit Your Name, which I love that movie. It's so good. It's so good. Guys, please, if you even slightly like the anime style, go check out Your Name. It is
Even
fantastic.
if you don't like the anime style,
even if you don't like the anime style, just go watch it, please.
It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
It's really good.
But apparently, dear old, JJ is going to be helming a live action adaptation. And there's already some backlash because people are saying, oh, that's going to be whitewashing and yada, 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 yada. Are you okay, sorry. My turn to rant now. So mark it down, Abe. That's 5. Look, I'm fine with, people trying to accuse an adaptation of whitewashing if you're trying to be faithful in terms of the setting and the characters. If you're just trying to tell a new take on a story, then that's fine. It's called an adaptation. You change things. That's how it fucking works. So if he wants to tell a story or he wants to do a movie that is based on the story of Your Name, go for it. That's awesome. That's something I actually want to watch because for once, that's JJ directing something that's not a franchise reboot. So just, all you motherfuckers who are just on the whitewashing agenda, look, just shut up, okay? Just shut up and just let them try to make this movie if it's gonna actually do something different from the source material. Sorry about that, Kristen. You looked a little flustered by a little bit of what I said. Do you got anything else?
This is what I don't understand. If you make a good movie, why remake it less than 2 years later? If someone tried to remake like Spirited Away as a live action movie, I would probably go and burn down their house. Like there are some things that you just don't need a live action version of. Like, can we stop doing this? Like, Your Name is perfect the way it is. There is no way to make it better with real life people. It was perfect the way it was as an animated movie. Like, there are some things you just don't change. Please, just leave it alone. This is like hashtag leave it alone. My entire day, just leave it alone. Like, stop. Just stop it. Stop it.
Just stop.
It's horrible.
But, Jacob, thoughts on JJ directing a Your Name adaptation?
I don't know why you guys are worried. This movie's never getting made. Like it's never happening. I don't know why you're worried. It ain't happening. It will be one of those ones where they make a big splash now because, hey, what just happened? JJ just got announced as the Star Wars director. Oh, let's do a big splash now and get, all these names and try and build hype for it. And wait. Okay. No, it won't happen because, he's directing Star Wars for the next 2 years. It's not going to happen. Maybe 3 years from now, maybe, but Star Wars will take up his entire life for the next 2 years. I doubt we will see we will see this movie actually being made. It's
funny you say that though, because I have the best feeling that if this was a channel back in 2015 and we were just hearing the news about Ghost in the Shell, would you be saying the same thing?
Okay, here's the thing. This was a channel back in 2015 and JJ was announced as the director of Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, I'd be saying the same thing.
Okay.
Just because, he had Star Wars. The same as if I'm trying to think of an example. I will think of an example and I will get back to you on that. But it's not happening.
If they have to make one, at least give it to a good director. That's, I think, what I'm with at this point, because, well, let's make Akira and then cast fucking Keanu Reeves in it, which was like the news from when, like 10 years ago. That was the news, right? Like he was going to be in Akira. And it was like, please don't. Just no. Just please.
Here's my thing.
Just
okay,
no.
here's my thing. If you make Akira, it cannot be called Akira. Like, if
Yeah,
you
name it
remake
something else.
it can't, because Akira, like, the reason Akira works is because that is one of the most common Japanese names. It would need to be something like Bob.
Unless they used Asian actors and set it in Japan.
Wait a minute. They can do that? Oh my God!
There are people in other countries that can act.
Okay, then why would, but it's not going to have the name Akira isn't going to have the same power in Australia. That's what in America I'm meaning. Like, it's not going to have that same power of, okay, this is, that it's meant to be this thing of hearing the name Akira for as the main name for a major blockbuster is just that's weird, because it is one of the most common names ever. Like Chris just said, when I just said, it'd be like naming your movie Bob, and Chris laughed. That is meant to be the point. And that
unless it's a movie about minions, then.
But we already got one of those, and that sucked. And by the way, so okay, now this whole group rant still counts, but Abe actually corrected me on this. He is producing, not directing, the Your Name adaptation,
exactly.
which now has me even more scared, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that has me even more scared. All right, next story.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Hopefully we won't rant at every story.
Actually, you know what? To be honest, yeah, actually, no. Okay, is
there a good news topic this week?
Yeah,
not really. Not really. I mean, no. That's all I had. Oh, actually, well, this is a non-story, because, like you said, this movie also won't happen. Lupita Nyong'o and Kristen Stewart are currently being eyed for being in a potential Charlie's Angels reboot, but the film still has no director, no writer. No one actually has an official confirmation on who would be distributing it. All it says in the Hollywood Reporter is that it just someone is looking to make that happen. And do we need another one?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Otherwise, that was the only other story that caught my eye for 2 seconds. But then, like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
All
right. I may as well start this box office stuff, hey?
Let's do it.
All right. So, major releases this week. We've got American Made, with starring Tom Cruise, and Flatliners. So, Kristen, what are your top 5 this week in box office?
What's the tiebreaker?
Oh, tiebreaker. Let's do American Made. Tiebreaker is American Made.
A nice, easy week. This is the easiest week of them all. I almost don't want to put Flatliners in my top 5 at all. Like, just at all, but it's a new movie, so I think it will get to number 5, but probably just barely. I think the Lego Ninjago movie will probably stay in there. American Made has some good buzz, so I'm having that at number 3. And then my number 1 and my number 2, I keep switching. So I'm actually going to put it at 2 and Kingsman at 1, just because I think there are still people who are going to see it. Well, they'll both see both of them, but I'm assuming there are going to be more people who have not seen Kingsman at this point who will go to the theaters to see it, but I could be wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong.
All right. Guys, please, in the chat, give us your box office predictions. I'm looking at all of them. I want to know all of them. Kristen, what's your, how much is American Made? Yeah, how much is American Made making?
14 and 0.1.
14.1. Wow, that's going to be a massive for a Tom Cruise movie. All right. Chris, what do you got?
Well, then I guess I'm going to be really ballsy here, because number 5, I have Flatliners. Number 4, Lego Ninjago. Number 3, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Number 2, American Made with 20.
Wow.
And number 1 is It.
Okay. Yeah, see, American Made is this real big weird one. I don't even have Flatliners in the top 5. I've got Battle of the Sexes at 5. Lego Ninjago, because Battle of the Sexes, it's not opening, it's not quite opening wide yet. Like wide is 1,500 theaters. It's on 1,200 theaters. So it's kind of gonna be there, but it's not gonna quite open wide yet. But I've got Battle of the Sexes on at number 5, Lego Ninjago at number 4, it at number 3. Yeah, I gotta go. I've got The Buzz on American Made. I gotta go. Kingsman number 2 and American Made at number 1, and I'm gonna go 18 million. Yeah, I got 18 million for American Made.
That big of a drop off for it and Kingsman? Oof.
Well,
I think
I think Kingsman's gonna have a massive drop this week. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it is gonna have a massive drop this week. But guys, okay, so Mr. Anaconda Bite asked, how is Battle of the Sexes? I've heard possible Oscar buzz. I apparently seem to be the only one on the internet who didn't love this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very solid, well-made drama that has issues in its third act with directing. I think it's a poorly directed film, but the performances itself are fantastic. And I think I think the performances are fantastic. I think the script and the directing really let the movie down. Has either of you guys seen it yet?
I'm actually seeing it tomorrow.
Big old no.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, let's get that is this week's box office, and you will see us next week when we talk about how wrong all of us were and how Flatliners ended up making $30 million opening weekend or something. Like, knowing my luck, that's gonna be what happens. Just
I cannot imagine that it will. Like, my husband saw the trailer for that and he's like, oh, I haven't seen this. When's it come out? Next year? I'm like, no, like next week. He's like, oh, that's weird. It doesn't look very good. I'm like, yeah, it's a remake of an old movie. He's like, this used to be a movie? Like the knowledge of he's like a general audience member, unless it's Star Wars or comic books. So if he has never heard of it and has no idea what it is and does not care one bit about it and knows nothing about the previous property at all, that's about 65% of the United States. That's
and it's a week,
exactly
and it opens today. All right, all right. So we asked you guys in the chat right now, please give us all your questions. Let us ask as many as you want. I put up a post earlier today asking for a bunch of your questions, guys. So Andrew Hayes asks a great first question. Chris, I'm going to direct this one to you. Where do you see the channel being 1 year from now?
Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. You're okay.
Under the bus.
No. I see this channel actually getting us to a place where okay. I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. Okay, I'll just come out and just say this best possible way. I see this channel getting to a place where I can actually, pay these people. Jacob, Kristen, Abe, Clark, Evan, Case, Ryan. Like, seriously, I want this channel to be in a position where we're actually making not like money we can live on, but just like as a side hobby that can actually make some quick cash. And I being the head of operations can look at what we're doing and be like, holy shit, we actually make money doing this. That's the place where I'd like to see us a year from now.
Fair enough. A year from now, I would like to see, hopefully I've been to America at least once at that point, because of this channel. Like, I've actually been able to go over to America and watch a match and watch a Schmodown live. what I want this. Hopefully, from this channel, I can get. I'd like to. I would like to be. Well, I'd like by the end of the year, I'd like to be at 1,000 subscribers, but I don't think that's happening.
Sadly.
But this time next year, I'd like to be nearing 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers, at least starting to get. All right, we've got a bit of a backbone, and we have some of the greatest and most loyal and most dedicated fans you could ever ask for. Like, look, it's a Friday night. Instead of going out on a Friday night, you're sitting here watching us. Like, thank you so much for this, guys. But yeah, and we want some more of you guys. So also, yes, we will not be talking spoilers of today's match, because I'm pretty sure someone here hasn't actually watched it yet.
Who's that?
No. Oh no, okay, Kristen, I didn't know if you'd had watched it yet, but no, we have all watched it. But just out of pure, respect for everyone who hasn't been able to watch it, we do not give spoilers for the Schmodown on this channel, on the live show, just out of pure respect. Kristen, where do you see the channel going for a year from now?
I like Abe's idea.
Oh yeah, no, that's beautiful. Evan fired Clark in depression because of Bibiani's losing record.
Yep, all of that. That's all 100% accurate. Thank you, Abe. That's what I want. I just think that it would be great if we could have more chances to be creative, because that like dog prediction thing was like a last minute idea, and
it was amazing.
It was pretty good. But like, having the opportunity to do stuff like that, where we have a group of people that will support you in your idea and like let you like go after things that you think are interesting and you think are going to work out. Like that's where I want us to be in a year. Not so much like let's focus on numbers and views. Like, I want this to be a channel where we can all do stuff that is interesting to us as creators, and also interesting to the people watching it. So thankfully, I think that we're already in a good place, and hopefully it only gets better as we go along, and we can keep getting like really cool people to be on the show all the time, and maybe like even cooler people to be on the show all the time.
Yeah. Well, actually, and actually, I have a spinoff question from that. So let's say it's a year from now, and the demand and the resources have become available, and now you guys are all able to do like a show of your complete choosing. Give me what kind of show you would honestly love to be running here on Take 3. Jacob, start with you.
I'm already doing it. I kind of just went for it, and I went, yeah, fuck you, I'm doing my own show. This is what I want to do. And I'm doing it with the Reactors Summit. That's the show I wanted to do I've been wanting to do for about 6 months. And I was, I'm not gonna lie, we were a little worried about doing it because of stepping on people's toes, but we've been able to find our way to do it and be respectful to the rundown and not completely just overtake everything that they're doing, because they are I still consider them a bit of a better show than us, but I think they do. I think they're doing some amazing and incredible jobs, and I was able to get my show and do the Reactor Summit, and that was something I wanted to do for a while, and you guys gave me the trust and gave me the ability to do that, and I just want to say that. And yeah, that's so I'm happy with what I got. I got my show. So a year from now, I want to still be doing it.
I would say, like guys, seriously, he just about begged me to give him the green light, and the thing is, it wasn't that I ever wanted to say no. Because I wanted to say yes from the get-go. It was just a matter of like, you give me your whole process about how you're gonna do it, and then, of course, once that all happened, I said go for it. But Kristen, when you get your overdue promotion for your own show, what would you honestly like to do that might be a little different from our current lineup of shows?
I really enjoy having not that we don't like have serious discussions or anything, but a lot of our shows are more kind of aimed towards like the fun side of it and just like, talking shit with people on a Friday night, right? But I really enjoy having very serious discussion about film and the art that goes into it and the enjoyment you can get from films that aren't quite so like explosions and superheroes and nonsense. And I like those just fine, but I also like very kind of cerebral films that make you think. And I would love to have like a show where I can just discuss good film or good television, but I don't have a lot of time to think about that. So it's definitely something that's like out there somewhere, like on the side of my screen over here.
That's awesome. Then I guess I really am the most ballsy, like most out there person because my quote unquote dream show for the channel, or maybe I'll just do it on my own channel or something. But mine would be an idea I came up with earlier this year, which at some point I am going to do it. I'm just going to quit my job, get a grant, and start making the show and see where it goes. Where I've had this idea for a while now where as a longtime musician, I play a lot of instruments and I know a lot of different kinds of music. I would love to do a show where essentially I'd be doing an internet concert every single week with a different theme each week. And I would be playing each member of the band, but as completely different characters. Because I used to be an actor, and when I was a kid, my parents forced me to choose music or movies, and I picked music, and I miss that. So someday I'd like to maybe go back to that.
Fair enough. Malcolm brings up a good one. I just want to see more episodes of Clark teaching Evan stuff. Don't we all?
Yes.
All right. Next question. Jeremy Hastings. Oh God, this is going to cause a debate. Kingsman 2, what was the number one thing wrong with it? All right. Okay, hang on. 1, we are not diving into spoilers because it has only been a week.
God damn it.
And 2, no, that's it. Just no spoilers.
Thank you.
I would. No, 2. You get one thing. Chris.
Yeah, you cannot rant for an hour about Kingsman 2, Chris.
All right. So, Chris, all yours.
Thank you. Okay. Worst villain ever. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, I love Julianne Moore. She is a fantastic actress. And while she has been in a couple of films that I wasn't a fan of, some of her performances, including stuff like Still Alice, are heart-wrenching. They're heartbreaking. They will depress the living fuck out of you. And she is an Oscar-caliber actress. I hated Poppy. I hated her so much. It was so just... Okay. It worked when Samuel L. Jackson did Valentine, as slightly over the top and with the lisp and the sort of way that the character carries himself, because from his charisma as an actor, you can believe it. Julianne Moore, as talented as she is, she doesn't really carry evil well. She's not. I've yet to see her do a film where she is more of a villainous character and actually pull it off. So while I get what they were trying to do, I really do, it just came off flat and honestly laughable for me. So yes, that's my one thing.
Okay. Kristen.
Okay, so I don't have a lot to rant about. I thought it was enjoyable. Was it as good as the first one? No. Was it a great film? No. But it was fun. And it had some moments in it that I quite enjoyed. I enjoyed it a lot more, I think, than Chris did, for sure. The thing that I did not like about it the most there were parts of it that just felt like they were putting it in there so that you would be like, oh, I remember that from the first movie. I liked that a couple years ago. I still like it. It just like it didn't bring anything new to the table. They could have done what they were doing in those films in a way that was new and fresh, and which is the point of this movie. Like the first movie, the reason it was so great was because it was new, and like the ideas and the way that they were putting them out there, like the ideas are not new, but the way that they did it was new, and that's why it was so exciting and so entertaining. So when you rehash stuff for the sequel, it just feels a little stale. It doesn't feel as exciting as it should. And the way that they did it is what bothered me the most. If they had cut out a few of those scenes that felt a little bit too much like a rehash and added something else, like some more development for the villain or some more development for the secondary someone or other thing, I think that would have been better, instead of focusing on these things that they thought we wanted, because what we really wanted was a movie that flowed well and had good pacing and good character development with that Kingsman flavor. And I thought they got the tone correct, and they got some of the stuff that was new and fresh. I thought they did really well. And I thought that I saw a movie in there that was a lot better than the one that was actually given to us. Like it had a lot of potential to be just as good as the first one. And there were parts of it that just brought it down.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm kind of on the same level as you. I thought it was a good movie, not a great movie. And it was a lot of fun. That was my big takeaway from Kingsman 2. The biggest problem I had is a certain bar scene. That's my number one complaint. It was unnecessary, it wasn't needed, and it was emblematic of a larger problem with the film. Kristen has basically already just said everything I was going to say.
Yay.
Yeah, I might move on with that one because, yeah, to me, the bar scene is my biggest issue with the film, and it was the one moment in the entire film where I was sitting there looking at my watch going, all right, I am bored. And that was, yeah. But Malcolm asks, who is your least favorite director? He is baiting me into another Transformers rant. I am not going to give it to you. Kristen, who is your least favorite director?
Oh, you got to give me a chance to think about this. Jesus. Okay. There are so many bad ones. How do you pick just one?
I would say go with the one that pisses you off the most.
His movies piss you off.
Chris, do you have one off the top of your head?
I actually do.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I consider myself a fan of, decent taste. I consider myself a fan of movies that actually try. I am not a fan of movies that were made to be tax write-offs.
Yeah, here we go. I don't. And look, okay, yeah.
Now,
all right.
I respect. In a way, I respect this man because he is a real life supervillain. In a way, I mean, Christ, he doesn't hide it. He doesn't pretend like his movies are works of art. He doesn't pretend that his movies will stand the test of time. I mean, shit. He challenges critics to a boxing match. One of them being someone that a lot of us might know from a certain show. And the thing is, I would respect him more if he actually treated film as an art and not as just a quick way to make some quick cash and not have any guilt about his films whatsoever. I'm not going to say this man's name because it makes me cringe. So if you guys know who I'm talking about.
Justin, you got it correct. Justin got it correct in the chat.
Yes, but I mean, that's probably who I should have picked right away because I mean, some of his movies have just been really, really bad. Whoever those guys are, whoever those guys are that make like every really bad spoof movie, they can just
Do
go
not
away.
fucking get me
Like
started.
whoever those guys are, I don't even know their names. That's how much I don't care about them. Like, stop. Spoof movies used to actually like do something important, like, oh, here's a very popular trope, and we will expound upon it, right? Like that, it was an important thing to do. Like Airplane is a spoof movie and a classic film. Like Monty Python, they did a lot of spoofs of like classic tropes, and they are classic films. Now they're just movies that people watch because they have nothing to do on a Friday night, right? Like it's just they killed a genre.
These are
That's how bad
these are the same morons that thought 50 Shades of Black was a good movie.
When
That
you kill
movie
a
was
genre,
insufferable.
you have someone who should not be making film. It's just
You know what
So,
sucks?
wait, are you talking about Joel Schumacher?
no.
You know what sucks? I was thinking, I tried so hard. I tried so hard to
Shots
think
of
of a
fire.
different
But
director.
at the end.
And I
Come on,
can't.
Jacob. Come on. Let it out.
He's the fucking worst. Like, oh my god. He is. He has done one passable movie, and that is The Rock. The rest just fucking suck. Like, oh my god. Okay, calm down. Calm
No.
down. Calm down.
Good.
No,
Give
no,
it to your
I
red
did.
guy.
I did my rant. I did my rant last week. I did my rant on the week during the week. Let's move on to his other question. Who is your favorite director? Okay. Okay. Now I can talk about movies I love, because we've talked a little too much about movies that we hate, and I'm gonna get onto movies that I love. Now, look, is all of his movies fantastic? No, he has some bad ones. But for film, if you want to watch filmmaking at its greatest, filmmaking at its finest, and absolutely just sensational ability to draw emotion, give you great characters, and tell a story from a unique perspective. They might not be the most original stories, but they're from a unique perspective that no one has done before. And yes, that is Steven Spielberg. They are fantastic films. Not all of them are home runs, but when you have in your lineup Jaws, Jurassic Park, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Saving Private Ryan, E.T., Catch Me If You Can, Schindler's List, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that is 8 all-time classics. You have 8 of them. Most directors want 1, and you have 8 of them. So yeah, so that's it's Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg isn't perfect, and I am not. And Justin says this in the chat. Steven Spielberg isn't perfect, but he's made so many classics. Yeah, that's it. Spielberg. There are terrible Spielberg movies. There are, like 1941 is bad, but the obvious one is, of course, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But there are classics. There's so many good films there. And I know it's a cliche to say Spielberg is your favorite director, but it's because he is that good. He is just simply that good and that great that he deserves it. And he is my favorite director. Kristen?
I quite enjoy the Coen brothers. They've made maybe 1 or 2 movies that I haven't enjoyed, but so far, like their list of movies they've made, I've pretty much enjoyed all of them. Hail Caesar wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't horrible either. I mean, you look at some of the stuff they've done, like they gave us Fargo, which is a fantastic movie. They gave us Oh Brother Where Art Thou, which is one of my favorite movies. I love Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like I might go watch it after this because I talked about it, which means now I need to watch it. Lady Killers, I actually liked. I know a lot of people who didn't, but that's fine. No Country for Old Men, like ridiculously great movie. Burn After Reading, I also really enjoyed. True Grit is one of my favorite Westerns ever made, and I also really enjoyed the original, and I like this better than the original. Inside Llewyn Davis, amazing. Like, they have so much going for them. They write their own material, they direct their own material, and they have a great sense of how to make a genre new in different ways, and their movies never feel the same. There are kind of like bylines that move through their movies, but they never feel like they're just putting out the same movie all the time. And then I have like one more, and he doesn't do enough, but I love everything that Steve McQueen has put out. Like, I wish he would make more movies, and I know why he doesn't, because he likes to wait for really, really good stories to tell. But he puts out just fantastic work. Hunger is fantastic. Shame is ridiculously great. 12 Years a Slave is also really a great movie. And he's just a director that understands how to make like human pieces, and that's important because there are so few really true directors who do that now. They focus on a story and telling that story through a human's perspective, as opposed to kind of these like big set pieces and stuff. So yeah, sorry, I had two.
That's fine. Chris, who you got?
That's fine if you have two, because I have three actually.
Shame.
I seriously can't pick between any of these three guys because, well, first off, one of them has never made a bad film, and that's Quentin Tarantino. Like, and he's also my favorite screenwriter because the dude has not written a bad script. The dude has not made a bad. In my opinion,
I know.
The dude pretty much wrote the damn book on how to write a great script. And the way that he shoots, the way that he sets up his shots, the way that he directs his actors, partially by just letting them do their interpretation of the characters, but also partially by kicking their ass when he needs to, because you can ask Sam Levine about Inglourious Bastards and that experience. But, he's not made a bad film. And every single one of his films has stood the test of time, and here's the other thing too I love about him. He doesn't make the same film twice, because Reservoir Dogs is nothing like Pulp Fiction, which is nothing like Jackie Brown, which is nothing like Kill Bill's Volume 1 and 2, which is nothing like Inglourious Bastards, which is nothing like Django Unchained or even Hateful Eight. There are a few directors I can gush over as much as Quentin Tarantino, and I would say Spielberg, but Jacob already took mine. Already took that one, so I'll just include Last Crusade because the fact that he was able to come to a sequel and make it arguably better than the original, because you have people who will make that argument. Which one's better, Crusade or Raiders? And and I of course fall on the former of that argument. But then my third one is Francis Ford fucking Coppola. He made The Godfather. He made The Godfather Part 2. He made Apocalypse Now. He made films that A, stand the test of time, B, had an important message that is still relevant to this day. And yeah, sure, did he make films like Jack, which are an abomination that I regret ever bringing up? Yeah. But he also made little gems like The Outsiders and Rumblefish, which, again, people don't talk about. But you don't have to, because he made two of the greatest films of all fucking time. So, yeah, it's impossible for me to choose between those three. It's impossible.
All right. Well, so yes, now, okay, we're getting back into the good stuff. All right. Now, let's go on to WWMT, because people, we can talk about our show.
Damn right we can.
What Manning Franks asks, what match are you most looking forward to between now and the end of the year? Chris, yeah, I'm going to ask you. What are you looking forward to the most?
You asshole. Because I can't talk about it yet. That's why. Because it's all I'm going to say, guys, is you know how, Collider has the Schmodown Spectacular. There may be a similar thing, and that's all the more I'm going to say.
Fair enough. Kristen, any thoughts?
We get another Brett Sheridan match this year, so that's awesome. Because he's hilarious. Hopefully he won't still be coughing by the time we get him back. Because he's still sick, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get better.
We hope he gets better soon. Look, I said this on my Q&A the other day. There's two matches I'm looking forward to the most. The one being the Brett Sheridan match versus Frank Janish. That's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to that one. But the other one that I think is going to be I think it's deceiving a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't going to be quite prepared for it, is Malcolm Lay versus Robert Parker. That is a match that is starting to build, and I am really excited for that one. I think both people, their records do not reflect how much they actually know, and I think we've got a really interesting match up there.
And not to mention the consequences of that match, because, look, Mike, I love you, but you're not going to win against me. So I'll go 4-3. And the winner of that match of Robert and Malcolm takes on who will most likely be me. So we could have a very hyped up rematch between Robert and myself if it comes to that. And, oh, God, that actually does make me a little bit nervous. That does make me a little bit nervous.
Okay. Yeah. Abe, you've actually got to have a match before you actually versing me first. So, yeah, just hang on. Abe in the chat says me versus Jacob. Yeah, you've got at least 4 matches before you get before that happens. All right. Let's move on to the next question written by Abe. Favorite Scorsese movie post 2000s. So you can only be the ones post 2000s. Now there's about 6 movies that you can actually pick from. Let's see if I can do this off the top of my head. I want to see if I can do this off the top of my head before I actually. All right. So Silence, Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island. What's before? The Departed. No, Hugo. Hugo's in there.
The Departed,
Hugo,
correct.
The Departed.
The Aviator.
Gangs of New York, Aviator. I'm missing one. I'm sure I'm missing one.
It came out last year, and you're missing it.
I started Silence. I started with Silence.
Nope. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was his. I thought you had 2. No, sorry.
It's going to be, is it going to be super obvious?
I don't think so. I'm going to look it up. But you guys talk about your favorite Scorsese movies while I am trying to be professional.
When are we ever professional?
No, never. Gangs of New York is a fucking fantastic movie. It's just such a good movie. I haven't watched it in a long time. I think it's not a movie that you can really rewatch. Actually, a lot of his movies are not movies you can rewatch. I don't particularly want to go out and rewatch Silence again, He just makes movies that are good for one time. But Daniel Day-Lewis is just a madman in this movie. This is one of the first movies that Leonardo DiCaprio was in it, and I saw him as the character and not as Leonardo DiCaprio. Because this was before he did Aviator and Catch Me If You Can and Blood Diamond, and that was his resurgence into actually acting and not just being Leo with his face on the back of my door. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Every girl my age had a picture of Leo on the back of their door. It was completely normal. Okay, tangent. Sorry. But I was at a point in my life when the movie came out where I was starting to recognize like good film. And so when Leo was like making stuff after and around Titanic time, you kind of knew like outside of Titanic that he wasn't in anything very great. And then once Gangs of New York came out, it was like, okay, he can do this. He can be like a leading actor who's taken seriously. And then he did, you know, Catch Me If You Can and The Aviator, and those are fantastic films. Like Aviator is a fantastic film. I also haven't seen that one in a long time. But I really enjoyed Gangs of New York. I thought it was just a really well done piece of film.
Chris? And we didn't miss anything, by the way. But Chris?
Oh, good.
Oh, good. I will go The Departed. Why? Because it's in Boston. I played the Dropkick Murphys like 5 times in the movie. All right. No, okay. Sorry. I'm done. I'm done making an ass out of myself. But yeah, no, like it's. Well, to be fair, I'm never gonna be done making an ass out of myself. So fuck it. But like again, going back to Leo, that was the movie I was convinced he was a great actor. Even though Gangs of New York, like I saw, yeah, he's doing really, really good. But how do I know this isn't a fluke? Because before Gangs of New York, I didn't take him seriously because, shocker to no one, I'm not a fan of Titanic.
How dare you?
I know.
It's okay.
I'm the devil incarnate. It's all good.
It's accurate. You didn't like Romeo plus Juliet?
That was all Baz. Nothing against Leo. That was all Baz. But yeah, no. And then I saw The Departed, and then I'm like, oh shit, this guy actually has the stuff. And plus, it's not just him. It's the ensemble. Alec, Damon, Marky Mark, Jack, fucking what's the therapist's name? I'm blanking now.
Oh, what's her name? Shit.
Oh.
All right.
Guys, chat, remind me, please. But you have a cast like that, and it's just the way that the whole ensemble came together, and the way that the script sort of took its source material and didn't do it note for note. It changed a few things up. It zigged where it should have zagged, and it tried a couple new things. And I did not see the ending coming. I did not see it coming at all. So yeah, I love The Departed. It's one of the best. In my opinion, one of the best foreign film to American film remakes we've had.
Yeah. All right. So you just stole my answer. So instead of giving that answer, I'll go with my second favorite, and that is The Wolf of fucking Wall Street. That movie is fucking insane. I love it so much. It's incredible. Like, it is just a lot of fun, and it's just, yeah, it's nuts, and you can just have fun with it and do stupid thing. And Vera Farmiga. Thank you, Abe.
Thank you.
Abe with all the answers. Thank you.
Yeah, Abe, I might be giving you that belt soon.
Abe has seen all the movies. Do you remember when he was on and we were like, no one saw that? And Abe was like, I saw it. And then he burned $1.
But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street is my second favorite. But yeah, The Departed is absolutely insane. And fuck you, Titanic is amazing. All right.
Jacob loves Titanic.
I love Titanic. I think Titanic is an absolutely incredible movie. And fuck you, I just realized, and he asked the next question, and oh my god.
Manning and Jacob.
Manning Frank.
My OTP.
Manning Franks says, most surprising movie of 2017 so far. Chris, have you got anything off the top of your head?
I'm gonna go for my actual one, which is Annabelle Creation, because for a film, again, I had no expectations for, none whatsoever. I was like, this is gonna suck, but I'm gonna see it for free, no complaints. I loved it, because it actually got me in the right scares. Yeah, because you had a couple of dumb jump scares, but you also had a couple of scares that were more subtle. And here, let me just give you one of my favorite examples. One of the best ways to scare me is when I'm in a dark room and all I see are a pair of eyes. Oh God, it freaks me out because like I don't even know what the hell is in here because it leaves your imagination to wonder, what am I looking at? Shit. If I watch the 1959 Sleeping Beauty, I get scared in the fireplace scene. Every time Maleficent shows up in the fireplace, I'm just like, ah! But yeah, and plus, not to mention, performances, fantastic across the board. The direction by David F. Sandberg, great. Like, there's a reason this guy got to make Lights Out. There's a reason that this guy has a promising career because it was a really good movie. And of course, my other one is Baby Driver. And yeah, I should have expected to be a good movie, but again, if you guys know my relationship with Edgar Wright, it's a little hit and miss. A awful, awful movie I don't want to talk about. Let's move
on. My biggest surprise, it didn't surprise me. Like this year hasn't really gotten that movie to me where it's like, oh my God, I expected this to suck and it was amazing. I haven't gotten that this year yet. However, a movie that I did walk in going, I'm nervous as hell because I'm not the biggest fan of this director. I don't think so. Look, I'm not the biggest Soderbergh fan. I'm really not. Like, I think he does have some really great movies, but a lot of them I'm not massive fans of. Logan Lucky, I adored. I loved Logan Lucky. I thought Logan Lucky was absolutely hilarious. It was a lot of fun. It was heartfelt. It hit you emotionally, but while at the same time just being really funny and a lot of fun. And yeah. So Logan Lucky is the movie that surprised me the most this year. Kristen?
Okay, so it's between two and Get Out or Split. Because Get Out, I mean, first-time director, to put that piece of film out is ridiculous. That is a fantastic movie. And I did not know what to expect when I watched it because Peele from comedy and not from social commentary horror movies. But he did a fantastic job with that. But Split was the most surprising. It's the correct answer because Shyamalan hasn't, like, The Visit was fine. I know it was kind of like a better movie, and maybe that's why people liked it a lot, was because the last few movies he's put out had sucked so bad that when you actually saw The Visit, you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. This is pretty good. Like, that's how I felt. It was a pretty good movie. Wasn't fantastic. The kids were kind of unbearable. They did not act well. But the movie itself was pretty good. But Split, like, I saw that movie like 4 times in theaters. I saw it by myself, and then I took my husband, and then I took my dad, and then I took a friend. Like, I watched it I'm like, you have to see this. And I loved that movie. It was so good. And the fact that it came from Shyamalan, who we got The Film That Must Not Be Named, we got After Earth, we got The Happening, we got A Super Disappointing Lady in the Water, The Village I kind of liked, but it was super mismarketed. Like, you got all these shit movies all in a row, and then all of a sudden he comes out and he's like, here's one you'll like. And yep, I did. I really, really liked it. And that was shocking because I went into watching that movie like expecting to be disappointed, expecting to like really hate it. And I ended up I sat there in the theater and everyone started leaving and I was just like processing. So yes, that's the correct answer. Everyone else's answers are not correct. Sorry. No, no, you guys, your answers are fine.
All right. So we're going to start wrapping this one up soon, guys. But I do have a question that I want to ask that I do want to just answer. Josh Aaron asked, how do you all feel about the new Schmodown app? Look, we're going to be dealing a lot more with the Schmodown app on our Reactors Summit. We're going to go full head into our full discussion about that one. So if you want our more massive thoughts about that one, you know, you can just watch the Reactors Summit with it. However, However, I'm going to give our real quick thoughts. Chris, I know you're not going to be on the summit, so you can give massive thoughts. I mean, you just because you aren't able to make it. But so, Chris, do you want to give your thoughts on the app?
Okay. I love it because we're overdue. I feel like we were overdue for one. I'm not a fan of it because of what do we do? Look, and again, I am beyond happy, and as soon as it's available for Android, I'm downloading it and I'm going to play the fuck out of it. We're going to have knowing us in the Take 3 chat, we'll have our own little league, and I can't wait to be the champ of that. But on a quote unquote business level, it does sort of hurt a tad, just because the fact that we got this whole channel started from giving the fans a way to compete in a Schmodown without the help of an app, without the well, unless you count Skype as an app, but without doing this sort of thing, it's like, well, I'm glad they're making it. It's about time they made it. It just it's bittersweet. And like I said, that doesn't mean I don't support it. Of course I support it because I support the Schmodown. But you take it with a little bit with a grain of salt, and you keep chugging along.
Kristen,
it's probably not what you guys wanted to hear. Sorry about that.
Kristen, what are your thoughts?
I don't think you have anything to worry about, Chris. This the app is just an app. Like, I mean, you can play against your friends, but when you're being recorded and like, it's a different feeling, like when there's pressure on the line. Like, it's an app, it's a game, there's not as much pressure. But when you're being recorded and in a competition, there is actually pressure to that. And so I think we'll be fine. I wouldn't worry about it, man. But I'm really excited for the app, even though I'll suck at it and I'll lose a lot. I'm still really excited about it. And I'm really interested to see kind of like how it plays, because we've seen the screenshots, and we've kind of like, we had that cool promo that Christian put out, but we haven't like actually seen gameplay on it yet, and I am really, really interested to see what that gameplay looks like. If there are like bosses or something, I don't know. Mortal Kombat style Schmodown app with the Mortal Kombat theme song being sung by Jeremy and Ellis. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make it so.
I'm of the opinion, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be awesome. As an iPhone user, I'm really excited for it. But look, I know it sucks for a lot of the Android users, but we can't look. This is a huge thing, and making an app is a huge undertaking, and it costs a lot of money. And if you're it sucks. I know that it's not coming to Android straight away, but it will. Like, trust me, it will come to Android eventually. But it's kind of one of those things where Apple, I'm sure there's something going on behind the scenes, and that was the decision they made. And yeah, so. Look, that's my thoughts on it. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be incredible, and it's going to be amazing. Last question for the night, guys. And I this is a great question. I do want to end it on this one because I do think it is a great question and kind of fitting. At the end of a long day of work, what movie do you want to put into the Blu-ray player? Kristen?
What movie did I put in today? Gerald's Game on Netflix. What movie did I put in yesterday? Star Wars. It just depends on the day at work. If I need something to be violent, then that's what I'll put in. If I need something to be fun, then that's what I'll put in. Maybe something a little relaxing, then I'll, watch something else. But it depends on the day that I've had. So today was a day where I needed to watch someone. I can't spoil Gerald's Game. It's really good. Watch it on the Netflix. Just came out. Good Stephen King adaptation.
I'll probably put on something a little bit on the shorter side and maybe something a little more simple. So, something that actually when I was a kid, a movie I always would throw away into the old VCR was the animated classic Sword in the Stone, because in a way I was able to identify with Arthur and how he was, learning from Merlin how to, learn about all this cool stuff. And, these were tricks that he would learn, so when he became king, when he becomes king at the end of the film, he's actually able to, somewhat do it with or without Merlin's help. So yeah, Sword in the Stone, man. That was mine. Jacob, what's yours?
Well, my big one that I used to always do after I'd come home from work, I'd always put on something animated, like just something animated, just to get me, just to relax a lot. Beauty and the Beast is one that I watch a lot. It's just kind of why I adore that movie. But honestly, it would be what's on TV. I would come home, I'd go on what's on, and if there is a great movie on, I'd put that on. If there wasn't, I'd probably put on a Star Trek movie or a Star Wars movie, just because that's what I felt like. All right, Chris, take her away.
All right. Well, yeah. So that's gonna do it for episode 29. As I subtitled it, just relaxing, kind of. Sure, we had some rants, we had some fun times, but as Bob Dylan, a fellow Minnesotan, once said, the times they are a changing, and get one last good look at the way that the show was run tonight, because it's gonna be the last. We have our dear old regular funny man Chris Clark has been working tirelessly to bring up a new idea for how to record the show moving forward, and you're gonna see it next week. When this is not 100% confirmed, because anything can happen in terms of scheduling, but at the moment, for episode 30, to help with the new look, the new show, we have a returning guest, one William the Beast Bibiani. So I'll let you guys woo girl in silence yourselves. And but this has been a fun phase for this podcast. Before we completely close out, what would you guys say was one of your favorite moments from this sort of era before we get all fancy and shit? Jacob.
Oh, before we get all fancy, nothing's changing. Let's be real. Okay, we're not having, like, can we just not take the eulogy here, guys? The show's not changing. Like, just to not scare anyone here that, oh my god, the Take 3 show is completely changing. Okay. The show isn't changing. We're still going to be idiots. Like, we're still going to be here and be idiots. The only difference is going to be there's going to be nice little graphics, and Chris is going to work really, really hard on making it look amazing, which it will. Like, I love you guys, but the show's not changing. I just don't want you to freak out that the show is completely changing. It's not.
And you call us idiots.
Yeah. Okay. That being said, guys, the obvious answer, the most fun, the most laid back, one of the greatest moments I've ever had on this show, it's when Robert Meyer Burnett turned up. That was just one of the most fun and energized and just amazing episodes we had. Now, there is another one that if no one brings up, I will talk about, but that's the most fun I've ever had doing this show.
All right, Kristen, what about you?
There were a couple episodes where we laughed just a crap ton. The most recent one was the one where Abe burnt that dollar, uh, which that was a just a really good show all in all. And because it started out with like 2 or 3 people, and then like by the end of it, we had like 8 people. People were burning dollars. People were arguing. Like it was just off the rails by the time that it closed out. And it was a ton of fun. It was just a lot of fun. I love when we just kind of are able to like today we're able to just kind of like sit back and like have fun and not always have like an agenda or necessarily like bullet points to hit. Like sometimes we just need to like chill out and like have fun with things. So yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, man, definitely. And I feel like the moment Jacob is going for is when news about a certain actor's mustache came about.
Yes.
And yeah,
I forgot about that.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, we still call Evan Henry Mustache to this day. Like that's how infamous that moment is, and it is a beautiful, glorious moment. Hence why we value every single person on this team, Evan included. Sure, we give him shit all the time, but he helped. He's done so much for this show, and I can't wait to see what he will bring for us in. I guess what is going to be our sort of equivalent of phase 3, if I'm going by terminology of a better and longer running show. In a sense, yeah. And speaking of announcements, because that's what I'm pretty much just doing now, just for a little bit. we have another one. Jacob, about a month ago, there was a little contest that started, and it was a beautiful, glorious contest. That because you and Manning, your love for each other could not be restrained. It could not be held down, and Manning never let go. Damn it! So we have a winner. We have an official winner of the meme contest. And it's pretty fucking obvious. Rasika Wickramaratne, dude, best GIF of all time.
Accurate.
Which included a picture of Jacob acting a little sexy, a picture of Manny in the background, and with hearts and corgis. How can you possibly go wrong? Rasika, I'm going to demand you put that GIF up on the page right now and show everybody why you won the contest. So, and of course, your prize will be a digital download code of your choosing. I will hit you up, and I have a couple I can give to you, and we'll go from there, man. But yeah, let's finally wrap this up. Jacob, where can the good folks find you online?
You guys can find me at Jacob London on Twitter and Facebook. You can also find me on Letterboxd now, actually going through and being really nostalgic and looking at all the terrible movies that came out in the 2000s.
All right, fair enough. And Kristen, where can the good folks find you?
You can find me Smith_K10, the number, not the word, on the Instagrams and Twitters and Stardusts, or like let's plug random other mediums. LinkedIn, go follow my profile on the LinkedIn.
There we go. That's awesome. And of course, you guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band MN. You guys can follow us. Come follow Take 3 on Twitter at Take 3 Trivia. Wow, for once I fucked that up. I never thought that would happen. I am so sorry, guys.
How dare you?
I know, right? What the fuck? And as we say goodbye to, I guess, phase 2, sort of this podcast, thank you for watching. And guys, we will see you next week with a new coat of paint. We'll just put it that way. For Jacob London and Kristen Smith, I'm Chris Doman. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.